Welcome, my friends, to another YouTube version of the BJJ Brick Podcast. I hope you enjoy the show, and if you do, please subscribe to the channel. So here we go.
Thank you for listening to the BJJ Brick Podcast. We'll be bringing you Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and good times. We hope to flatten your Jiu-Jitsu learning curve, help you get the most out of your grappling ability, and meet your goals both on and off the mat.
Welcome back, my friends, to episode 188 of the BJJ Brick Podcast. My name is Byron. I'm here with Gary. Gary, what is happening today?
Well, I was just thinking, every time you say welcome back, I think of the show from like the 80s, Welcome Back, Cotter. So I was just actually thinking if I could name all the people. I think it was Horseshack and Mr. Cotter and Vinny Barbarino and Washington and Epstein. Hey, I did get them all.
Wow.
So, I bet they're all black belts by now.
Yeah, you're starting the show off on fire, my man.
Yep, I've already taken us way off topic.
But we do have an awesome show. We have Dustin Denes, also known as Clean, and we'll get to why he is often called Clean. But Dustin Denes, I had a chance to meet him a few weeks ago, and definitely wanted to get an interview with him, and that finally happened over the phone. So we'll have that coming up, and we've got a lot to learn about Dustin. Just a quick thing about him. Back when he was a brown belt, he was competing at the Brazilian Nationals, and he met in the open weight class, the absolute division. He met Marcelo Garcia in the finals and tapped him out with a rear naked choke. So just really cool, kind of a fun fact, an amazing accomplishment that he's done. And he's willing to share a little bit of that story with us today.
So make sure you get your popcorn now. Get out of your seats real quick and grab your popcorn so that time you'll be ready when Dustin Denes comes on.
Gary, you are probably the only person who listens to a podcast sitting on a couch eating popcorn.
Why? That's not normal?
I think you drive in your car or you're doing chores and you just have to, you have something on and it happens to be a podcast and it's me and Gary.
Yeah, way to, tell people how they're supposed to listen to a podcast. What are you, the podcast marshal?
The podcast police.
Yep.
Yeah, that's me.
I can listen to it however I want. Popcorn is good for me.
However you want to listen to it, if you do want the show notes, we'll send those to you in your email inbox. Go to the website, bjjbrick.com, or on our Facebook page. There's a little area on there as well. You can type in your name and your email address, and every week we'll send you out the show notes. So you'll get the website for Dustin Denes. You'll get the link in the notes about the article of the week. You'll get the quote written down so you can see what we're going to talk about. All the notes sent to you each and every week, and reminding you that the podcast is out and ready to be consumed.
Also, check out our link for Byron's audiobook, Your First Year in BJJ. 2.5 hours of content, only $11.99. The proceeds for the audiobook go directly to support this show, and basically the audiobook is about guiding you through your first year in jiu-jitsu. The first year is normally the tough year. That's a year most people drop out, and our goal is to keep people training. We don't want anybody to drop out. There's everything in it from picking the right school, and that's a really big one. Especially if you live in an urban area with more than one school, you definitely want to try out all the schools, see what one works best for you. But if you're in a school that either the drive's too long or the traffic's too bad or you just don't click with the instructor and you're not having fun, you probably aren't going to stick. So you definitely want to check out a school, check them all out, see which one works best for you, and find the one that clicks, and you'll have a better chance of staying. So definitely check out your first year in BJJ.
Absolutely, it's a big deal trying to find the right school. And if you, like Gary mentions, if you're in a big city, you have lots of choices. If you're in a small city or even outside of a city, and you have one option, make that school. You're a big part of that school. You could make the change and make it great. You definitely could be a big part of that and make it what you want it to be as just a team member.
Yep, definitely. Speaking of making jiu-jitsu what you want and when you should train, we have an awesome quote this week from Neil Olenkamp. I assume he's a judo guy because this was a judo quote. But his quote is, I only train on days ending in a Y.
So, Gary, I'm trying to calculate how many days a week that Neil is training. Let's see, Monday.
Oh, we got Sunday,
yes,
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yes.
How do you spell Thursday?
I think it ends in a Y. Yes.
Okay, Friday.
Yep.
Saturday.
Okay.
So basically, he trains every day of the
Every
week.
day of the week he's training, but he's taking a break on those days that don't have a Y at the end of them. So he gives himself some.
Why?
I don't know. So basically, high competitor or high, have a high goal, training a lot. And we're going to get a little bit of that, I think, from Dustin Denes as well today, like, intensity of training and how much you need to put into that. If you have the big, lofty goals of competing or even just reaching your absolute best. We could all train, Gary, 2 days a week and have fun and enjoy it. But, we may not be reaching our full capacity and our full ability that we have in our own bodies at our jiu-jitsu level if we don't train, as much as we can and put in our full into it. There's a certain time, though, maybe at an age or, looking at injuries that, maybe not training every day may not be the smartest thing for you to do. If you're getting, if you're up there and you're 65 or so and, you train 2 days in a row and the second day you feel like, man, I'm too sore to do this at this pace, then that's not the best for you. But if you are, able to train at, if you're able to max out how much training your body can handle, of course you'll get better.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of young people come into the sport, maybe never done it before, but pick it up kind of quick. 6 months down the road, you're just surprised how good they are, and a year down the road, they're just incredible. And you start talking to them, and they're like, "Yeah, I train 7 days a week, two times a day." And when you do get all that training in, you get extra reps in, extra time, and as long as your body can take it. I mean, there's like Byron was saying earlier, depending on your age or injuries or whatnot, you may not be able to do it. But if you're healthy and it's not bothering you, boy, I would love to train every day, and nothing wrong with that at all. And that's how the high level competitors train.
Yeah, if you're 18, you don't have a full-time job, and you're a healthy individual with no injuries, you could train a ton. If you are middle-aged, you've got a full-time job, a family, and these other things, it might affect the amount of time you're actually able to train, even if the desire is there. And so then we have to look at getting the most out of the time that you have on the mats. But for Neil, he's training on days that end in Y.
Yep, and that's the key. I like what you said right there. Getting the most out of the time you have on the mats. I mean, you could train every day and lollygag and not do a whole heck of a lot. What we call training a Byron. That's what us people in Wichita call it. So if you're training a Byron, you're probably not getting a lot out of it. But, you definitely want to, train. Make sure you're training smart, and the time you're on there, training hard, being effective, being efficient, and getting the most out of your time there.
So I have a training method named after me, Gary. This is pretty exciting.
Yeah, you didn't know about that? Well, nobody tells you. Training a Byron. That's what we say. If you come in and you really don't do a lot, you just hang out, and a lot of times you spend looking in the mirror, flexing your muscles.
I don't have any muscles.
and combing your hair. Stuff like that I noticed. And we call that doing a Byron.
Yeah, Gary, you pick on a couple things I don't really have. I don't have hair. It's about a centimeter long at longest, and it's thinning. And my muscles are average on a good day.
Don't worry, Byron. I think you're pretty jacked.
Oh, man. Gary, thank you.
With long, flowing locks.
Oh, man. You're serious. I'm so happy right now.
The only locks that are better than your hair are your arm locks.
Gary, I don't know where to take this from here. I think we need to pass this football to a very qualified person in Dustin Denes.
Let's bring on Dustin.
He is the most interesting grappler in the world.
He has never needed to go check a noise in the middle of the night. He just lays and waits, ready to play guard. Long ago, there was a guard called the Caterpillar Guard. This guard was pretty ineffective. After spending 2 weeks working on this guard, he made a few changes, and it became what is now known as the Butterfly Guard.
I don't always listen to podcasts, but when I do, I prefer the BJJ Brick podcast. Stay sweaty, my friends.
All right, my friends, I'm happy to bring Dustin Denes, also known as Clean. Dustin, welcome to the BJJ Break podcast.
Excellent. Glad to be on. Thank you, Byron.
I met you a little while ago, maybe a month or so ago. You were here in town. You taught a seminar, and I'm very excited to get you on the show and kind of share your style of jiu-jitsu, your teaching, and also like really who you are and what you're doing as far as in the jiu-jitsu world. So Dustin, could you maybe just introduce yourself, a little bit of history of who you are and what you're up to?
Yeah, my name is Dustin Denes. They call me Clean. I spent many years in Brazil. I committed my life to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I went full in, all in. So a lot of people talk about it. There's, are you in or are you really in? I was 110% in. I got plane tickets, put me there, one-way ticket, and rock and roll. So full immersion, total immersion. Trained there with a Carlson Gracie for many years. We transfer over to the Brazilian top team, and now ultimately now and day after I spent many years fighting mixed martial arts, and now and day I travel the world helping others. It's not about me. It's about the others. It's about helping others.
Yeah, and you really are traveling a lot. It seems like in the short time I've known you, you've gone from here. You were in Hawaii, and now you're back in the Midwest, and it's like. I can tell you're a guy who is very active and really getting out there and teaching a lot and really helping other people.
Yeah, I get around the world and you know I'm in Hawaii a lot. Hawaii's a home base for me, and it's the most beautiful place in the world. So, but I feel fortunate. I get to travel the world and help incredible people around the world. So everywhere I go, all I have is really incredible things to say about the people. So.
Dustin, could you maybe highlight a couple of your competition, highlight some of the things that stand out the most to you?
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing, it'd be the Brazilian Championship, winning the Brazilian Championship in Brazil. And it just so happens I beat Marcelo Garcia in the finals, but really that's not the highlight for me. The highlight is winning the Brazilian Championship. Like, when it comes to Marcelo Garcia, I knew I was going to beat him, so I really don't get excited about the story. I get excited more about winning the Brazilian Championship, the big championship in Brazil with the best in the world. It's the toughest championship in the world. So that for me, winning the Brasileiro in the Brasileiro is how you say the Brazilian Championship in Portuguese, Campeonato Brasileiro. Winning that was really big because my big bros, my big bro Minotauro, he won in '98, Rodrigo Nogueira, and his twin brother Rogério Nogueira won in '99, and then I won it in 2000. So. It was really big back to back for all of us.
So you mentioned a pretty big name in jiu-jitsu, Marcelo Garcia, but really winning the title or winning that tournament was more important to you than beating any actual person on that road.
Yeah, I mean it just so happened that was my day, and really. I felt it that day. That was my day. I was beyond confident in myself. I was certain of myself. I had all this experience built up and all this time in a learning curve. And a day prior, I fought in a weight class the day prior, and I got third place. And it just left a taste of shit in my mouth. And I was man on a mission. That's it. I'm coming back for the absolute, take no prisoners. And the absolute in Brazil, I mean, you get the best two guys from the top teams all in there, and I mean I remember seeing the brackets. I mean it was all the best guys, and the brown belt's really tough because brown belts are all hungry lions. You know, black belts already got the black belt. Brown belts are hungry lions. So you're really up in there against the best on their turf, and it was really exciting. And like I said, it didn't matter who was going to show up that day. I feel it was my day, and. It just so happened Marcelo Garcia showed up in a final, but for me, it didn't matter who showed up. I'm more excited about winning the championship, and that was big for me. There were a lot of great tournaments over there that I got really small medals because that's all they gave out. But I fought a lot of hard matches. But if there's one thing that sticks out, I would say it's the Brasileiro when it comes to curriculum.
You mentioned that you were really certain that day that you were going to win. How did you get to that mind frame or that frame of mind? And do you think that being in that frame of mind actually helped you compete?
Yeah, I'm very confident that played a major role in me winning the championship, that championship on that day. Because you talk about confidence and you talk about certainty. Certainty, you know, when people are confident, they still have doubts that linger most of the time. When the difference is when people are certain of themselves, it's the only way they're going to tap the most potential they have. When you're certain, there's no doubt in your mind. You understand? When you're certain of something, there's no doubt in your mind. Like, in the end of the day, I may be wrong, but I was never in doubt. And only when you're really certain of yourself is when you're really going to believe in yourself the most. The more you believe in yourself, the more potential you're going to tap. And this goes for anything in life. The amount of potential you tap is going to determine the action you take. And the action you take is going to determine the results. And then when you get the results, it's just going to reinforce that belief. Wow, I did that. Well, now you're going to believe in yourself even more. So, yeah, certainty is huge. I mean, after that, I remember it like yesterday, the way time flies. That Saturday after I got third, I was so disgusted. I had a taste of shit in my mouth, and I was just man on a mission. Just get Sunday to arrive because I want to get this gold. I'm going to take these guys out and get the gold. There was no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. I remember seeing the brackets where in the past I would, oh man, that guy's in there. Ooh, that guy's in there. All the hammers were in there, Byron. I did not care. I didn't give a shit. As far as I was concerned, nobody's stopping me. I'm invincible. And look at the result I got. So I definitely believe certainty played a major role, and it ties to anything in life. The bigger your belief, the more potential you're going to tap. The amount of potential you tap is going to determine the action you take. The action you take is going to determine the results. And the results just going to reinforce your belief. So certainty is huge. It's a state of certainty, and it can be achieved. And I believe I achieved it through years in the learning curve. Everything played a role. All the sacrifice I made, all being determined to win, but more so determined to make it through another day of practice. When determined to make it through another day of me putting myself through my own sacrifices and holding myself to it. Leadership model in full effect played a major role. It's not, nobody gets anywhere alone. I was surrounded by incredible training partners, incredible coach. I surround myself with the best. I surrounded myself with champions. You know, on my worst days, or I went and guys remember Marcelo Garcia, but they didn't see how many times I lost. How many times when I lose, all those times I lost, who was there to tell me, Dustin, keep your head up, keep going, you gotta believe. That's your teammates. They're the ones who keep you going. They're the wind behind your back. So everything tied in and played a major role.
Wow, that it sounds like you that first day losing that or getting third really motivated you and got you like really amped up and excited. And maybe that was like a hidden blessing to just light that fire underneath you and really get you going.
I mean, I don't, you know, use the word motivation and I've always been like, I'm big into discipline.
Okay. So like,
I really don't believe it was motivation. I really believe more so, I understand where you're coming from, but it was more that state of certainty because the way I see it, like, if you need motivation for something, don't do it because the reality is you got to have the discipline. Like the motivation, the inspiration, it's just a jump start. It's not going to keep you going. It'll get you going, but it's not going to keep you going. What keeps you going is discipline, sticking to it and holding yourself accountable. So if you compare that, like everybody on January 1st, they're motivated. They're inspired to do what they want to do with the changes they plan to make. Why on January 10th does everything go out the window for a great majority of people? Because they lack the discipline. You know, the fun's, the inspiration and motivation is fun. Yeah, it's exciting, but it ain't gonna last. It's short-lived. It's gonna become work. And a way to get through the work is discipline and good habits and sticking to the grind. It's not like I learned this in wrestling. I wrestled for 10 years before I ever touched jiu-jitsu. I've been wrestling since the age of 8 years old. You know, it's, the fun's going to run out. The excitement's going to run dry, and the work's got to get done. You understand? And they taught us in wrestling it's not supposed to be fun. Drilling's not fun, but winning is. There's a price to pay. There's a pay price to action. So you want to get the results, always follows the work is the results, but you got to put the work in, and that's where the discipline comes in, holding yourself to it, not just for 1 day or 1 week or 1 month. Great day after day, week after week, year after year, decade after decade. It's not backing off and holding yourself accountable. It's that ongoing discipline, holding yourself nose to the grindstone. So it really, Byron, it's a lifestyle. I believe it's a lifestyle. I don't believe in the people who do a great diet and, now this night I get my cheat meal. The way I see it, man, it's a lifestyle. If you're going to do it, you do it. You know, if you're going to have something to take the edge off, do it, but work harder to earn it. You understand? Everything, I believe in, you only deserve what you earn. So
how does one develop that sort of discipline? Did you learn that as a young man or really a boy in the wrestling room? Did you get a discipline there and you've kept it through your adult life, or where did you get your discipline?
I learned, it's a great question. When I look at a big picture of things, I got a discipline from wrestling. And, it was wrestling. I owe so much to the sport of wrestling. Wrestling really, I saw the difference because between doing it, you're doing something and you don't like it, and you're doing something you don't like it, but you learn to love it. That's discipline. You hate it, but you act like you love it. And that's when you're onto something. And that's what wrestling taught me, and that's where I saw the results, because for many years I did it. I was sure everybody wants to win, but you do it. You keep searching for that equation that's going to make it all right, and that's going to align the stars, and you're going to win, and everything's going to happen in your favor. But yeah, I really learned it from the wrestling. Wrestling instilled that day after day, week after week. And you got to be held accountable. I like wrestling a lot because if you don't like it, leave. The door's right there. It's not, hey, I'm here, I'm paying so much money, you guys need to cater to me. No, the wrestling coach is going to look at you and say, you don't like it, there's the door, leave. So, yeah, big part of discipline, huge to wrestling. Because even when it rained, if we couldn't go out and do our run on our warm-ups outside and run the track, we were because it was raining maybe, we're in the hallways doing push-ups with a partner pushing on our back, giving us resistance. So, yeah, it was always holding ourselves accountable. Discipline, yeah, wrestling. Stick to it. Never back off. So
you transitioned to jiu-jitsu, and you quickly got yourself into like one of the most talented and competitive jiu-jitsu mats or rooms you could find like in the world, and you've got all these great people around you. Did that wrestling mentality really help you be in that room and survive?
Oh yeah, big time. Played a major role. I mean, I probably had 600-700 wrestling matches before I ever stepped in a jiu-jitsu school. So I had a lot of grind time. It definitely played a major role because I knew how to grind. You got guys in there with belts around, they got belts with color belts around their waists, and they got the great technique. They know how to technique. They know the system of technique, but they don't know how to grind. They don't know how to put the nose to the grindstone and dig. And when it starts tasting bad, dig deeper. And when it tastes really bad, dig even deeper. And when it tastes like shit, you just keep digging. You just put your head down and grind, man, because that's all you know how to do.
Dustin, they call you Clean. Where'd you get that from?
My first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu teacher, Marcelo Silveira, really incredible teacher. I feel very fortunate. Well, one of my best teachers. I had a lot of great teachers. He's one of the best teachers I ever had. Very technical, and I would shave my head all the time. I remember the first day I showed up, before I even stepped on a mat, I shook his hand, and he looked at me, and I said my name, and he looked at me, and he said, "Clean, Mr. Clean." And that was it. Clean. Stuck. It's better than dirty. I run with it. So, fits me well.
Yeah. Okay. The shaved head, which when I saw you had a shaved head, and that kind of that look off of the commercial with the cleaning guy. That Mr. Clean, huh?
Yeah, man. I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, I take my hat off, to him, and I value the fact that it means so much to me that I got the nickname from him because he was such an incredible teacher. I keep in touch with him from time to time now and day, and I feel very fortunate to have started jiu-jitsu in those hands. I couldn't have started in better hands.
Now, you started with the wrestling base, and then you quickly excelled to the top of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu food chain. But how would you describe your style of Jiu-Jitsu?
My style is a very strong style of Jiu-Jitsu. I come from the Carlos and Gracie in Brazil, and the Carlos and Gracie is the most successful team in the history of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Why? Because they get after it. They chase their efforts. They really get after it. You hear what I just said, chase your efforts. Like a lot of parents will say, chase your dreams. I don't believe in chase your dreams. I believe in chase your efforts, because effort's going to make things happen. We dream big, but we need to chase our efforts, because the effort is what's going to make the difference. And Carlos and Gracie was all about chasing effort. We trained hard. We worked hard. We outworked. It's as simple as outworking the opponents. We outworked them. We put in the grind time. So, yeah, it was really great. It was really great. And it was a really great place to be for a really strong style of jiu-jitsu. I go in there, I don't want to negotiate. And I know that from Carlos and Gracie. I don't want to I go, you go, I take. I'm going to destroy. I don't think I'm going to pass the guard. I think I'm going to destroy the guard.
Wow. Okay.
So I really want to make sure the opponent knows who's feeding who. Jiu-jitsu's been around, and you'll hear a lot of jiu-jitsu people now and day. You won't hear this from me, but they'll say, "Oh, wait till the opponent gives it to you." What if they don't give it to you? This is 2017. Everybody's cross training. There's jiu-jitsu around the world. What if they don't give it to you? You got to be prepared to take it. Take it, and that's where that strong style of jiu-jitsu comes in to impose your will upon the opponents.
Well, that's a very strong I go. That says it right there. Like, you didn't describe the techniques or anything like that, but it's always your turn. It's always your turn, and that describes it very well.
The more I attack you, the less you can attack me.
Exactly right. So you said chasing effort. I like the sound of that. Maybe could you describe that more, or maybe tell me a story about what that looks like?
Effort basically is the beautiful thing about effort is it's you versus you. You know if you're putting the work in. You know if you showed up early. You know if you stayed late. You understand? You know if you're wasting time on, if you want to be a champion and you're wasting time on social media, that time could be spent out doing road work. That time could be spent in the gym doing reps. And the same thing goes for life and work. I mean, it's no different. It's no different. You look at effort when if you look at families, there's people around the world using social media. I'm not on the social media anymore. I pulled a plug on a social media. It's too much wasted time. And effort really presents the question, how much time are you wasting? Because time wasted is time we never get back. That time wasted is time that could have been spent via effort getting closer to your goals. or getting closer to what you want to achieve. So effort's huge, and a beautiful thing is, in the end of the day, it's you versus you. It's you versus you. So if you say you're going to show up early and you're going to stay late, it's up to you. You can't point a finger at anybody else. Effort's you versus you. So, yeah, I believe in that. Chase your efforts. You know, if you look at business, you look at anything in life. Let's use business for an example. Most business, whatever the business may be, right? There's a lot of businesses that open, right, around the world. Most businesses don't make it, Byron. That's the reality. Most don't make it. Like most people who show up to the championship, they're not going to win. Most businesses that fail, they're quick to point the finger at the money. Oh, we didn't have the money to fulfill the operation. We didn't have the money. The reality is most businesses don't fail for lack of capital. They fail for lack of effort because people don't want to grind. Well, you used to sleep 8 hours a week to get this job done. You're going to have to cut, or 8 hours a day. Now to get this job done, you're going to have to work on 3 hours of sleep a day for about 6 months. Are you ready? Oh no, I need 8 hours a day. So they're going to point the finger at the money. It's not the money, it's the effort. If you put 5 extra hours a day, you would have got the job done. But people want a shortcut. Especially with the technology these days, people want everything at a touch of a button. They want to know it all overnight. They want it to fall from the sky. Not even overnight. They want it now. The time, if there's any now, the time is now to take action on your efforts, on what you want to get done. So a guy once told me time, this is great. I love this. Time is undisputed. What does that mean? It stops for nobody. It stops for nobody. Time lost, time wasted is time we never get back. The time keeps ticking. The clock keeps ticking. What are you going to do with your time? How much time are you wasting? So, if that fulfills an answer for effort for you.
Yeah, wow. Dustin, I've got a bunch of notes already written down here. Definitely described effort very well. When I see you, or I see you online, or I see something, I see CHOP certified a lot. What does that mean?
Live on purpose, not by accident. Simplified.
Live on purpose, not by accident.
Yeah, live on purpose, not by accident. What are you here for? What are you here for? Fulfill that. Add value to the world. Number one, first and foremost, add value to the world. Find something that adds value to the world. Let's make the world a better place. Make it not about you. Make it about the team. These are all CHOP certified elements. So originally, when we a really great friend of mine, one of my best friends, he's one of my black belts too. He's in Japan. We come up with Jiu-Jitsu CHOP, and I was in a position to take Jiu-Jitsu CHOP to another level, and it got to a certain level. I said we need something different, something next level, and we came up with CHOP certified, and it evolved to CHOP certified. So CHOP certified is really what it's evolved to. My operation, helping others around the world, about a team. So.
Do you see a difference of what you were doing early on in your competitive career? A lot of times I hear people say, when I was competing, I had to focus on what I was doing. I had to focus on my game. And now that I'm coaching, or I have I view myself as a bigger part of the team, it's more about helping others more. Do you see that transition, or do you see any differences there?
Yeah, when I was competing, I mean, there was always that. I had a really powerful team, and there was great support. So there was a lot of emphasis on a team, always. However, it was a very selfish time. When I was competing a lot, it was a very selfish time in my life. If I'm not dead or in a coma, I'm doing the work. That's not, and I'm not saying so and so close to me is dead or in a coma. No, as long as I'm not dead or in a coma, I'm doing the work. And whatever the price may be, I'm doing the work. The work's going to get done. So it was very selfish, and now is the total other end of the spectrum. It's not about me. It's about the others. It's about a team. It's about the students. It's about the students getting better and really, really seeing the light and being inspired and learning about discipline and how to grip it and take it by the reins, grab the bull by the reins and make things happen and achieve what they want to achieve. So yeah, there's definitely a contrast there, because then as much team emphasis there was, it was a very selfish time. It was a very lonely time in my life. Do I have any regret? No, because I learned so much from it. I won incredible championships. I did incredible things for the team. But now it's not about me. It's about the team. It's about the others. It's about the people around the world. So to help them, to help them see the light, let's add value to the world. Let's help reach out and help.
So as you're going around and teaching these students who don't have necessarily the goals of being a big champion, does that affect what you're teaching them, or you still want to teach them the same thing and the same method that would get them to the gold at a very elite tournament?
Not at all, because the principles are timeless. They can apply the same principles whether they want to go to a big championship, they want to get that promotion at work, whether they want to get that person they wanted to go on a date with for solo, whatever they're getting after, it's going to help them. The principles are timeless. I mean, the way you got to dedicate yourself and be determined to really, really get the technique and do it right and focus on quality. It applies to everything. So really, I'm going to teach it the same way because the principles are the same. And it's not so much about if they want to win a big championship, great. But whatever it may be thereafter, it's going to help them. Those principles are going to help them.
Dustin, do you have any idea how many seminars you teach in a year?
I couldn't tell you. I don't. I lose count. I don't count. I'm so close to the tree. Sometimes it doesn't allow me to see the forest, to say.
Is it more than one a week? Is it, you have like a guess, you think?
I mean, I teach. If I'm not teaching jiu-jitsu, I'm speaking. I'm speaking for groups that are in a direction of doing good things, adding value to the world. So I got to make sure I'm inspiring the right people.
Yeah.
Teaching, and even when it comes to the discipline, more important than the inspiration for me is the discipline, because it's like we say, the inspiration, yeah, it's going to get them kick-started, but the discipline's what's going to keep them going. So, yeah, I mean, I would say if I were to guesstimate, it's got to be more than once a week. I mean, I do this full time, so I'm some days for a month, 6 weeks, I'm every single day, rock and roll. I'm in it. I'm committed. I'm very passionate about what I do. I believe passion rules the world.
Yeah, so you could be looking at more than 100 seminars in a year, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. There's a lot of demand. There's only one of me, and I want to make sure when I deliver, every seminar is a new presentation. So, but I want to make every single one better than the last one. So I keep it a challenge, and I don't really keep track because I just want to be better. I'm always striving. I'm a person. I want today we had a great seminar. I want tonight to be better, and today was out of this world. So, yeah.
Yeah. So we're recording this.
I just couldn't give you an exact number.
I'm just curious how. Basically, it sounds like you go around, you teach seminars, and you also speak. Are the two main methods that you're going around and making the world better? Is that kind of what I'm? Is that what I'm getting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sharing the principles, the timeless principles. For me, people come to the jiu-jitsu seminar. They come to the jiu-jitsu seminar for the incredible technique, right? Really, when people attend a seminar, especially when it's their first time, they're coming because they want an incredible technique. Maybe they want to meet the person, but I'm more focused on I'm going to give them incredible technique. But more important to me is they take something away that's bigger. That's part of the bigger picture in life. It's helping them become a better person, to do what they do better, they found a new way to do what they've been doing for so long, and now they've got a little additive to make it even better because of the timeless principles. The sacrifice, they're sacrificing 3 hours of their day to come in, and instead of me just letting them go through the motions like you saw on a set, I really stay on everybody's case because I want them to be productive. I want us to make the most of the time. And they learn about productivity. They learn that they sacrificed it. They wouldn't know this unless I brought it to surface, that they just sacrificed 2 or 3 hours of their life to come and learn something. I want to make sure I give them something to take away for the rest of their life. So they learn about determination and their focus. They get so focused on a technique, when they leave, whatever they want to be focused on, they can apply that better because of that 3-hour lesson. Well, Clean buckled down on us. He really got around a room, and right when I thought I needed to take a break, I got 20 more reps because Clean got it out of me, and he showed me I can get it out of myself. So, and then plus, you got a leadership model. I mean, you hear me saying the same things, but they're timeless principles. They're team. You got to surround yourself with champions. You're as good as the people you're surrounding yourself with. You want to surround yourself with, I believe in optimism. Surround yourself with people who see the good, not the bad. No matter how bad something may be, surround yourself with the people who see the good.
Yeah, I could see that in the way you delivered your seminar. It's a different style of seminar than I've ever attended, and I've attended quite a few. Could you just describe what you do differently when you teach a seminar?
Yeah, I could say they can expect somebody to show up and give 110% for them, for the betterment of them. I go there, and a lot of guys, I'll get to the seminar, Clean, and I get a lot of handshakes, a lot of photos, but it's not about me. I'm not there for me. I'm there for them. Where I think a lot of seminars, the person who goes to give the seminar, they're there to be a star. I'm not there to be a star. I'm there to help. I'm there to help and add value and show these people that, hey, let's work. Let's have a great time. Show these people I really care. So for the small window of time we have, whether it be 2, 3 hours, 4 hours, we're going to make the most of the time, and we're going to make it great. We're going to make it fucking out of this world because it's a choice. In the end, and excuse my language, but in the end of the day, good or great. We're going to make this next 3 hours good or great. It's a choice. And that goes back to effort. It's each individual chooses. If they want to come in there, if I want to show up, and I don't want to bring my A game, it's a choice. On my worst day, Byron, I bring my A++++ game. All my best. On my worst days, I bring my best because it's a choice. And the same way I make that choice, every person who shows up makes a choice. Maybe it's Saturday morning. They worked all week. It's a choice. They know they paid for the seminar. They know they're going to go. They're feeling great lying down in bed because they worked hard all week. But ultimately, it's a choice that they're going to make. Are they going to get up out of bed and be lazy? Are they going to get up out of bed and go through the motion and go to the seminar because they paid? Or are they going to get out of bed inspired? Maybe even if they woke up on the wrong side of the bed, they chose, you know what? I committed to the seminar. I'm going to make the most of it. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to make this day great. And I'm going to reflect that on my teammates. So it rubs off on them. Everybody I see, no matter I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, everybody I see that walks through the door before the seminar, I'm going to have a smile. I'm going to be game on. I'm going to be looking forward to this seminar, and I'm going to make it great because it's choice. It's a choice. And it goes back to the effort. That's you versus you. You got to make that choice. Somebody wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. I can't make that choice for them. I'm not there to fall from the sky on their bedside and say, hey, today it could be good or great. You got to make it great. It's effort. They got to make the choice. They got to live with it. They got to go to bed with it. They got to deal with it, how it rubs off on others. You know, it's key. That goes back to the leadership model. Inspire and motivate the people around you, because it's only going to bring them up. And then when they go up, you go up. It's contagious, but it also works the opposite way. It's an upward spiral that opens up. It's a downward spiral that closes down. It's a choice which direction you want to go, up or down.
I would like to point out a few things that I kind of noticed. I think everybody noticed during your seminar, and have you maybe comment on those. Maybe the first thing that really stood out was you quickly learned the names of everyone in the room. And it was a room of, 35 people, and you knew maybe 3 of them to start with. A couple of people came from out of town because you've never been to this gym before. So a big room full of people that you didn't really know, and you quickly learned their names. And that does take effort and conscious thought to do that. But that, you're saying you give, I think that's an example of how you're giving like 100% of yourself. You show up and you're going to deliver the best seminar. Well, if I go to the best seminar I've ever been to in my life, surely the guy's going to know my name. Like that's pretty impressive. And it wasn't that I was the one new guy that didn't know. You learned everybody's names from what I can gather. Does that help you deliver a more impactful seminar, you think?
For me, it's very powerful because I believe we can give the example. How am I going to get the best out of you, Byron, if I don't know your name? If I talk you through the technique, when I say your name, when I say, Byron, pull your leg this way, if something clicks in your head, a light bulb goes off, a voice goes off that says, man, this guy gives a shit. I better work. I got to work, man. I got to step up. You recognize me making a commitment to you, and you want to reciprocate that. Most of the time, this is the case. Man, he's calling me out. I want to step up. So I bring it back to that. How am I going to get the best out of you if I don't know your name? So I make it a real point to get everybody's name, whether there's 10 people, 50 people, or 100 people. I'm gonna go for it. And it's work. I may be wrong, but I'll ask again. I'm not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid to fail, and that goes back to winning championships. How many times do I ask the name? I don't land it the first time. I get around the room again, and maybe I get a guy's name wrong. But I ask him again. Why? Because I'm not afraid to fail. It's not about the times I fail. It's about the times I get it right. As long as I may get around the room 4 times, and a guy told me his name is Josh, and I called him Josh. His name is John. I called him Josh 4 times. By the 5th time around, I'm going to get John. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it because I keep trying. I keep working at it. I keep putting forth the effort.
Yeah.
And it goes back to winning championships. Failure is short term. If you want to win championships, if you want to be better at anything in life, you can't be afraid to fail. Failure is part of the process. Failure is part of success. Failure is short term as long as you never lose sight of the big goal.
Yeah. You say that you might get some names wrong. I don't recall you getting any names wrong. Maybe you. Me neither. I'm just being honest. I'm not perfect. Yeah. And sometimes I'll get it wrong, but the difference is I don't walk away, and this applies to anything I do in life. I don't say, you know what, I know I asked his name before, I forgot it, but because I forgot it, I'm not going to ask again. I'm not afraid to let him know I failed. I'm not afraid to be wrong, because eventually I'm going to get it right. And when I get it right, it's going to stick. And I'm going to see that guy maybe 2 years, 3 years later. And before we're even on a mat, hey, how's it going, John? How are you? So, oh my God, man, the guy's blown away. He's not going to remember the 4 times I forgot his name in a seminar 2 years ago. He's going to remember that I stuck his name forever. Yeah, I was very impressed by that, and it does have an impact. You have a impressive control of the feeling on the mat, and I did get that. You're on one side of the mat, I'm on the complete other side of the mat. I'm trying to work my technique. I'm doing, what I think is right, and you call out my name, and Byron, grab your chin, or there's some detail that I'm messing up from across the room. So now, at any point in time, you don't have to be next to me. You could be watching me make a mistake, and I've got to just pick it up, and I've got to really, buckle down and get everything perfect, because I don't know, because you have that impact on the room, and I think that's a great tool that you've developed, and you have that a lot of people don't even think about as an instructor.
Yeah. Well, it also goes back to the leadership model. When I say Byron, it's like, oh man, like it's not just about you doing a technique. It's not just about me showing a technique. It becomes a team effort. You understand? It ties everybody together. If that makes sense, where I'm coming from. I'm calling out your name. It's like, it's not just me. It's not just you anymore. There's a team thing going on.
Yeah. And it feels like, you were basically a stranger in the room when you got there. Nobody really knew you. Like I said, a handful of people have been to your seminars before, but it quickly felt like you were a huge part of the team. As you taught the seminar, you were really one of us. And just, I think that's getting people's names is a great way to get that feeling out of people pretty much instantly. You care about us, you get that feeling that this guy cares about me. He's not just here to get his money and get out of here.
Yeah, and then then when it's reciprocated, you reciprocate it, but really, we all benefit. We all benefit because it rubs off in a room. Then everybody's working on that. It's contagious. Everybody stays on the up. That's when you get everybody on board with the same mindset, obviously.
You kind of explained that you want to give the best seminar possible. You want to do better than one you did yesterday, and always improving. A little detail that I was talking with some people after it was all over. I never once saw you, and this is take it for. I never once saw you on your phone or distracted. As when we started, you were teaching the seminar, and all the way up until people, the last people were leaving the gym, and you could take 3 people and just walk them out there, and you would say bye all 3 of them by name instantly, and it was really impressive. But you were never really distracted by anything. You were always in the moment, and I was really impressed by that too. And I'll tie what you're saying, a commitment. I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to tell a quick story right here. Back when I wrestled, I'll never forget when I started wrestling. The first day, when you get into the preseason wrestling, you're going to have a lot of hard workouts, and basically that's where your team is going to be made in the preseason, when you're really getting nose to the grindstone. In the preseason's where you're really getting in really incredible shape for the season. You don't just wait till day 1 of season to get in shape. You're getting in shape prior to season. So when season officially opens, we got to make the most of the time. The competition's training. And I remember always on a first day of practice every year, you'd have 100 people, if not more, there. And a coach would always look and he'd say the same thing. And every year it was the same. Are you guys in? Are you guys committed? And the first day, everybody's so excited. You got like 100 people, 100 plus people there. Yeah, we're in, coach. We're in. Why the next day are there 35 people there? Are you in or are you really in? So when bring that story back to the seminar, I'm really in. I'm all in. I'm all in. When it's showtime, I'm all in. I'm there for the people. I'm all in 110%. So, and there's a difference, and people can ask themselves the question, are you in or are you really in? A lot of people talk, but when it comes time to take action, when it comes time to make things happen, when it comes time to pull the trigger, most people are out.
and that's the reality.
Another observation that I had with your seminar is you didn't teach a ton of things. Sometimes you go to a seminar and every 10 minutes they're pulling everybody back together and they're showing something different, or maybe something that adds on to what they just showed, or maybe something totally different. You really chose to focus in on something and get us to do it as perfectly as we could. Why do you choose to teach that method?
Because that's how they're going to learn. That's how they're going to take something away for the rest of their jiu-jitsu. My goal is, I could go there. I have an enormous arsenal of techniques. I can go to a seminar. I could teach 100 or 1,000 techniques. Everybody's head will spin. They'll be amazed. They'll be so excited. They'll walk out the door with absolutely nothing. I want them to take away not only a technique, but those timeless principles that we're talking about. The one I just spoke about, commitment, going back to the leadership, discipline, sacrifice. So that's why I buckle down on one thing. So
yeah,
so they really learn. I always leave it open in the end for a Q&A, but it's the only way. Look at anything in life. You want to be great at something, you got to do it 7 million times where nobody sees. And it just goes back to effort. It's not what you're doing when the world is watching. Oh, here comes coach, I got to work. It's what you're doing when nobody's watching. The people see, like, the big championships I won. They didn't see all the grind time. They didn't see all the losses. They didn't see all the endless hours in a gym where it wasn't fun. It was work. They didn't see that. They just see the shine of the gold.
You're not just teaching the technique. You're actually trying to show and let them feel what it's like to grind and to work harder than they thought they could work and really push themselves. Am I getting that right?
Exactly. Because if I do 10 techniques, it's a 2-hour seminar. I gotta split a time. That's 12 minutes of technique. That's not including the introduction. It's 12 minutes of technique. What are you gonna learn in 12 minutes? You're not gonna learn anything. You got to buckle down. You got to work on it over and over and over. It's like anything in life. People look from the outside in and they'll say, "Oh, that looks easy. I could do that." It looks easy because somebody's working so damn hard at it to make it look easy.
How do you decide which technique is right for the class? As far as if you were to teach, we did a really in-depth look at a triangle. How did you decide that for the class?
I stick with basics. What's going to withstand the storm? The roots and the trunk of the tree. Those are the basics. Those are timeless. Those are going to carry on. They're not a fad. They're basics. They're solid. They're the first floor. They're the foundation. So, yeah, I believe in basics. And basics are universal. They're universal. If I come in here and I teach some crazy funk move, maybe one person out of 100 is gonna maybe apply it, and 99 it's gonna do nothing for. That's not to say that they're not going to be excited, have a smile on their face, be amazed, but is it going to work? I want results. Whatever I'm doing, I want to get results. I want to show what works. I'm into what works. Forget about what looks good. What works.
Yeah, and it works for basically everybody. And so
yeah, if you take for example, let's look a little deeper into jiu-jitsu. There's a lot of people here, let's reference, you were talking about Marcelo Garcia before. X-Guard, Marcelo Garcia. He's incredible at X-Guard. He's out of this world at X-Guard. Anybody ever that does X-Guard nearly as good as him, as great as him. If you teach X-Guard at a seminar, it's not basic technique. If you show it to 100 people, 99 people aren't going to get it. One may get it good at best. If you go in there and you show a classic armbar, 99 out of 100 are going to get it. 1 out of 100 has got something going on in his mind. So that's where I believe. I believe in basics. The basics, that's the foundation. That's the first story. You have all the funk moves, stuff, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th floor of the building. And if first floor is no good, it's not going to hold. It's going to crash. It's done. Nothing.
Dustin, have you seen that change with students as far as what they want to learn? Back when you were doing jiu-jitsu and you just started, compared to now where people are getting online, trying to learn something new every day and trying to, they really have that lack of focus on anything in particular, let alone a basic technique. Do you see that when you go around and you meet people and you teach to the community as a whole?
Yeah, sure. I see that. Yeah, was it very different when I came up? Yeah, you didn't approach when I was coming up. You didn't approach a teacher and say, "Oh, I want this." No, you're gonna learn. They're there to teach you. They're the teacher. You're the student. So it's who is the student to tell the teacher how to run the operation? Does it make sense? But I do see. I mean, it comes with changes constant. It comes with, obviously there's the internet now and the game is just changing. Times change. Things, jiu-jitsu got a lot bigger. And, so when it comes to what people want, I think they need to seek out. I believe people need to seek out a quality instructor and leave it to a quality instructor. Because you got a lot of people today. They have they're white, they're blue, they're purple. They're white, they're blue belt. They really don't even have a clue. They have no real knowledge of jiu-jitsu yet. And a lot of the purple and brown and the black belts have no business wearing a blue belt these days. So it's like, there's a lot of gray area there.
Let's talk a little bit about what you think about or feel about modern jiu-jitsu. Some of these techniques that are coming out that are just different than what people were doing 10 or 20 years ago. And maybe I think the internet has a big part of that. People will see something and they'll be able to study it online opposed to have to see it at a tournament. And the information changes and it gets shared so much faster. But these techniques, largely speaking, are pretty far from the basics, and they're pretty far from, the rear naked choke, the triangle choke. These things, you always see these things finish fights and matches. But what do you feel about the way jiu-jitsu is headed and some of the techniques that are being done now?
I mean, it's just a reality. I mean, if stuff is happening, is it gonna jiu-jitsu is the gentle art. It's self-defense, so people can defend themselves in a real world. The jiu-jitsu's evolved so much to where is a 50-50 guard going to help you if it goes down in the street? I don't want that guy on my team. I don't want a 50-50 guy, a guy who's doing 50-50 guard on my team if it goes down in the street, if I get attacked. Because that ain't going to save you. Strong basics are good takedown, good sweep front of guard, good basic sweep front of guard. That's going to get the job done a lot better than something that's gonna make an advantage in a tournament to win. So there's tournament jiu-jitsu. A great thing I feel very fortunate about coming from the Carlson Gracie, whether we were gonna the style I learned from there, whether we're going to sport competition, whether or it's self-defense, or we're going to mixed martial arts, our jiu-jitsu is going to work. It's universal. It's not just going to work in sport, and then that technique is going to be null in the real world. I mean, the way I see it, what good is your jiu-jitsu if you can't? You can have all the world championships in the world, and you're making an advantage on it, but as far as I'm concerned, the jiu-jitsu is worthless if you can't use it in the street. If somebody attacks you and you can't do that in the street, what good is it? What good is it? It's not a reality. It may be a reality for sport competition, but it's not a reality for reality.
Yeah, and that street one is the one match or one fight that mattered most to you.
Which one?
The one on the street. That's the one. You're not fighting for a medal. You're fighting to continue to live. You're fighting to protect people that you're with. That's the most important myth.
There's and it applies to everybody. It applies to, you look at the kids. Let's take the kids for example. The kids are the future. You take the kids and you put them in a school where they're learning. Now, in the end of the day, I think all the jiu-jitsu there is a positive to all the jiu-jitsu. But like when I think of my son, I have a son. My son, I wanted to have jiu-jitsu that's going to work in a real world. I would never enroll him somewhere where they're going to teach him how to make an advantage, and it has no application to the real world. No, thank you. But is there somebody who can see a positive in that? You know, maybe it keeps their kid off the street. Maybe they look at it different. Everybody's seeing it from different dynamics. You know, could there be a plus? Yeah. You know what? He's in there learning how to make an advantage and go win a world championship in jiu-jitsu. It may not work in the street, but in the end of the day, it's making him a better person. It's making him a better person. I'm all for it. I'm on board. Would it be my son? No, I'm not going to enroll my son in there. But in the end of the day, I see a positive. I see the positive. I'm an optimist, so no matter how dark something may be, I see the light. I work hard to see the light. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and you, I can attest to that also. You are definitely an optimist. You helped me out at part of my game because, like most people, I have a good side and a bad side. And, you taught me that was wrong. I have a good side and a great side. And
that's right.
Just that kind of that view of things. Where did that come from?
That's just from experience. A lot of experience, a lot of great teachers. I feel fortunate. I was surrounded by really great teachers who had a lot of great experience, and then I got experience of my own. So I learned that a lot of times my great side was my opponent's greater side, and my supposed weak side was my opponent's shit side, their horrible side. So I could go for my great side all day, but I'm just going to hit a wall. But the side that I think is my weak side, my opponent is horrible on. All I got to do is open that door, and they're going to crash and burn. So it goes back to, you think like you've heard a saying, you're only as strong as your weakest link. I mean, similar to that, you got your good side and your great side. I mean, if you're just drilling one side and that's your great side, and it's the other guy's greater side, you're a fool. If his other side is he's a total sucker on the other side, yet you're gonna spend the entire time on the clock shooting for your great side. You're who in the end, who's the sucker? In the end, the fool who didn't access his good side, he gets played for the sucker in the end, where he could have played the other guy for sucker. Yeah,
the chain.
And on the subject of suckers, P.T. Barnum said a sucker's born every minute, so don't forget that.
the idea that the chain is only as strong as the weakest link, but a lot of times when you're grappling, you're not even testing those weak links. They just go unchecked. And so an example for myself that I've learned is I'm trying to pass. I pass typically to my left. A lot of guards are really hard to pass to the left, but if I just spend a few seconds trying to pass to the right, it becomes a lot easier sometimes. And my passing is not as strong on the right, but they're, like you're saying, their defense that way is not that good either.
And it'll also make your great side greater. Because just the fact that you tap the good side, now they've got to throw all their energy to that other side, because if they don't, you're going to pass on that side. And now that they threw all their energy to that side, which is your good side, now when you go back and you bounce right back to your great side, they still have some of their energy on the good side. You're really going to maximize your leverage or your great side. People don't understand. They'll never truly maximize their great side, fully tapping into their good side.
Yeah, I think that's a very overlooked thing. That you mentioned that and you talked about that a little bit during your seminar, but that's something that I'm continuing to learn more and more about as you explain it to me now.
And that, I'm just going to throw this in, that goes back to effort. It goes back to effort, because the reality is when people get in a room, they're not, and you put them to drill, they're not going to want to do their good side. If they're not, they're going to default unless they're taught otherwise, they're going to default always to their great side. They're going to default. And it's up to them. It's them making a choice. That's where it goes back to effort. It's you versus you. Them saying, you know what? Not just saying it, but committing themselves to it, really I'm going to do this. I'm going to do one to the good side. I'm going to do one to the great side, no matter how inconvenient it is. And sure enough, always follows the work will be the results.
And Dustin, part of that goes to not teaching, like you just said, a technique every 12 minutes. If you teach a technique every 12 minutes, I'm only going to work my great side. I don't have time to develop both sides in 6 minutes each side. So by letting us spend the time where we need to spend it, we have time to develop both sides and get a good and a great side. Because you had such a focus on the basics and you had that wrestling background, do you think those are big keys to your transition to MMA, or what would be some of the big things that helped you make that transition?
Transition to MMA, I was in, that was really roots of the Carlson Gracie. Every jiu-jitsu team was different, and our team was, Carlson Gracie produced real fighters. We actually take our jiu-jitsu beyond the tournament, and we leave the sandbox, to say, and we take our jiu-jitsu and we defend the flag of jiu-jitsu. It was never about money. It was never about ego. It was about defend the flag of jiu-jitsu. When you get to a certain level, you leave the sandbox and you defend the flag of Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So that came from the roots. I mean, from day one, I wanted to fight. I walked into here's another story. I walked into the jiu-jitsu academy. I had no clue what a gi was. I had no clue. I didn't even know I needed a gi. I don't even want a gi. I didn't know we were supposed to have a gi, or we were gonna. It was gonna be an obligation. I just walked in here. I want to learn how to fight it. I want to learn how to apply. I want to learn how to use this jiu-jitsu. I want to learn jiu-jitsu. And he said, "Oh, you need a gi. Oh, you got to get a gi. What do you mean? What? Okay, so."
That's the attitude of a great student. Let's kind of dig a little bit deeper into that. What advice do you have for somebody who's going to be attending a seminar? Maybe one of yours, maybe not, as far as how do they get the most out of the training that they're going to invest their time and money into?
Commit themselves to the day, no matter their expectations or not, for the time. If they're going to commit to the seminar, commit to it. If you're going to go, show up, don't bitch, don't moan, take everything in stride. The teacher shows something and you wanted something else, take what they showed in stride and make it great, because it's a choice. Really go in there focused, committed. Going back to what I was telling you, the story about wrestling, are you in or are you really in? If they signed up for the seminar, whatever you sign up for, be really in. If you sign up for whatever it may be, for taking your kids to school in the morning. When you get the kids in a car, look alive. Be great. Why? Because it's a choice. You understand? It's a choice. I mean, be really in. Don't get the kids in the car and I'm sure there's people doing it all around the world. They got the kids in the car and they're on social media. You got the kids in the car. You got a future in a car. You got beautiful kids in a car, and you're going to spend the time on a phone. You could be spending the time having an influence, a positive influence, adding value to these kids' lives. Not only adding value, appreciate them, learn from them. You can learn a lot from the kids. Why? Because kids don't have a framework. Kids are just happy. All they see is the good, unless they're taught otherwise. You understand? All they see is good. They're kids. They're sponges. So I'm just using that as an example, but when they go to the seminar, commit themselves. Commit themselves. They may get there and they may not like it, but if they decided to commit themselves for the time being, be committed. Stick to it. And that just goes back to the discipline. You can't come up with a plan and say you're going to stick to it and then jump ship an hour in.
Dustin, we've kind of described a bit of what a seminar is like. You say, you give all of yourself, the big effort when you deliver a seminar, and we kind of walk through what that actually looks like, and it really helps. You're like, yeah, this guy does. You said you also do speaking engagements. What do those look like?
Most of the people will call. You'll hear this as a general term nowadays, motivational speaking. I don't consider people get motivated when I talk. I don't consider it motivational. I consider it more so. Why? Because strategy is your discipline. What's gonna keep you going, not what's gonna get you going. I'm gonna hit the inspiration in the talk, for the work I'm there to do. It's part of it. It'll happen. Inspiration's a byproduct, but a strategy, the discipline, not so much emphasis on getting people fired up. That's more emphasis, and they do get fired up. Don't get me wrong. Everybody gets fired up because they see the positive. I open their mind to the positive and to the results and the results they can achieve and that they're invincible. But it's really, really for the discipline. It's really for the discipline. So if we look at a discipline, what could be an exercise? Go back to the commitment. Perfect. How many people have goals in the world? Not many, but the ones who do, how many write them down? How many you think write them down? A real small percentage. How many you think write them down and read them 2 times a day? A smaller percentage. How many write them down, read them 2 times a day, and evolve them every 2 weeks because they're already achieving their goals and their affirmations? The number's getting smaller. You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
It's a matter of sticking to that. There are going to be days, you know what? I've had a long day. I'm supposed to read my goals and affirmations before I go to bed, but tonight it's okay because I had a long day. It's not okay. Somebody's got to be held accountable. Those little things are going to make the difference. If greatness is what you're after.
Do you have any advice on setting those type of goals?
Put them on paper. Put it down on paper. Get a paper out. Put them down on paper.
Is it good to shoot for something that is
unachievable? Shoot for what's beyond reach.
So, like a white belt, should they be shooting for that blue belt or a tournament win, getting the gold, or should they be thinking about black belt, time and
black belt 10 years with a best brain? That's what I'd be shooting for if I was a white belt at minimum. Shoot for, but then again, that's achievable. Black belt with the knowledge of 1,000 black belts. I want a knowledge of 1,000 black belts, and imagine I'm a white belt. I'm committed. I'm all in. I want a knowledge of 1,000 black belts. I want to commit myself 110% to this thing. What? You're not gonna get that knowledge. Well, you may fall way short and get the knowledge of 3 incredible black belts in a lifetime. You got a lot of knowledge.
So you're a big advocate of that, of the big goal, and if you don't reach it, you're still reaching way more than you would have achieved if you just set up a reasonable goal to begin with.
Yeah. I think set your goals a lot higher than possible, and that I take my hat off to Ted Turner. That's Ted Turner. Set goals that are just above and beyond that. People are going to say, "What?" They're other people show it to other people. They're going to call you crazy. They're going to call you crazy, but then they're going to come knocking on your door for all the answers when you win the gold. Or you do whatever you're after. When you get it done, they're going to be the first one at your door. The person who called you crazy, they're hypocrite.
I'm seeing some similar like parallels. You had that big tournament. You got third the first day in your weight class, and you're like, I'm taking this absolute. That is a goal that you look at a guy who didn't win his weight class, and you're like, well, can this guy win this? But that goal was huge, and the road to get there was even bigger. And that confidence that came from it. You didn't set the goal with the idea that I'm going to shoot for first, but, if I get third again, that's still pretty good. 100%, I'm going to win this thing. It doesn't matter who's in my division. It's mine. Okay,
carry on.
I'm just kind of wrapping up, but it's kind of, I see like a parallel in that. That's a big goal for somebody to set something like that. And that's why you've achieved big things in your life.
Yeah, and I can tell you also played a major role. I knew how many years. I mean, like when I won a Brazilian championship, I had been grappling already for 14, 15 years. I mean, I wrestled since the age of 8, and for me, it was there was a lot of hard workout. There was a lot of pain. There was a lot of pain in my life beyond, and that's a story for another day. Like even jiu-jitsu for me, I never got it. Most people, hey, why'd you get into jiu-jitsu? Well, I saw this or I saw that and I got really excited. Jiu-jitsu for me is a byproduct of pain. That's a story for another day. But there was a lot of pain in my life to where this is an opportunity. If I win this championship, it takes pain away. You understand? Pain, many years of pain. And it was an opportunity. You see the guy in a bullpen. I remember, we'll use the example we were talking about prior. You see Marcelo, I look at a bullpen and we've gone through the entire bracket, a big, huge bracket. And I'm in a final, and there's my opponent, Marcelo Garcia. He's in a bullpen. He's strutting around. He's looking at me like, give me the nod. Like, yeah, we're cool. Like that nod, we made it to the finals. And I'm thinking to myself, we're not cool. I'm here. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to kick somebody's ass. And for me, it was beyond. I had that state of certainty, but I had many years of pain built up upon myself. Pain of the others around me. That people that were close to me that they experienced. So the way I saw it, it was somebody's going to pay for the pain, and I'm there to do business. And I get it's gold. It's going to take some pain away. It's going to relieve some pain. So I was really after the championships for many years. It was a pain reliever.
Did that getting golds, did it actually help relieve some pain, or was that like a temporary win, or like you know what I mean?
Well, you got to keep doing something. No, it on goes. It doesn't just fade away. It carries on. The pain lives on. You just got to find your element to tap into. That's going to, everybody experiences pain. It's just most people only understand one side of pain. They don't realize there's two sides of pain. Most people only know one side of pain. They know suffering. They know discomfort. They know it doesn't feel good. They touch it. They back off. But what they don't understand that there's two sides of pain. There's another side of pain called effort. And this is going back to the effort that we spoke about. That if you're willing to push through the pain, you're going to find there's something greater on the other side, and that's called glory.
And glory is like a painkiller, or it makes it worth it anyway? That glory, whether it's a gold medal or it's whatever somebody's after to achieve.
Whatever they push through pain to get done. You understand? It's not necessarily just gold. Gold medals is just one example. But whatever does it make sense? Most people they touch pain and they back off. They don't want it because it's suffering and discomfort. They don't realize if they put the effort and they put their grind in, that they can push through that pain. And that there's something greater on the other side. And whether that glory be a gold medal or seeing somebody they love for the first time their entire life in person, whatever that glory may be, it's on the other side. There's two sides to pain, and that's what most people don't understand. Why can I walk a rigorous trail in Hawaii barefoot like a boss? And other tourists I'm seeing around me, they're all wearing shoes because they feel like if they go barefoot, it's going to cause them pain. They never put their feet in the floor. You never step on a rock. You never step on sand. I mean, what if you step on a rock and you get cut? well, most likely it ain't going to be fatal. But their mind is programmed that it's going to cause them pain, so they wear shoes. The shoes take their pain away. Bam, their pain, they don't have any more pain. They don't have to put their feet in the floor. They can put their shoe on and get it nice and comfortable how they like it.
Wow. Yeah, this is interesting. I'm also interested.
I believe in. I'll throw this in. Whatever makes you most uncomfortable is the right decision. So that's a good one.
I want to dig a little bit deeper. I'd be kind of kicking myself if I didn't. You go hiking barefoot, and can you just tell me a little bit about that?
How are you going to be in touch with nature if you're wearing shoes through the bush, man? I mean, I can understand if there's cobras, if you're running through Africa and there's cobras all over the place, it's one thing. But if you're running through Hawaii and there's no snakes out there, yeah, you gotta deal with sharp rocks, you gotta deal with stuff. But how are you gonna get in touch with nature? I mean, don't get me wrong, there's circumstances. If you're running on sharp lava rock, I mean, you're gonna be better with a pair of shoes, or otherwise the operation's not gonna carry on. You understand?
Yeah.
But if you're walking on a trail where you can put your feet in the floor and feel Mother Earth and really feel nature, feel what it was like before shoes were around, because there was life before shoes. If you didn't know, there was life before the iPhone. If people didn't know, you understand? It's just getting you closer to nature.
Yeah. You spiked my interest on this a little bit. I go hiking quite a bit with my wife. What advice would you have for a guy who's, if I'm going to try this, to go hiking without shoes on?
I mean, just know the territory where you're going. Make sure. I know you guys are in the Midwest. Make sure if there's copperheads running wild in a bush, I'd put shoes on. But if you know the terrain, I mean, I like to get in touch with nature. I mean, if you got shoes on, there's something between you and nature.
Yeah.
Unless considering, but you got to take into consideration the circumstances. So, believe me, if I'm in a field in Africa and I know there's cobras all over the place, I'm not running through there barefoot. It'd be foolish. There's a fine line between bravery and stupidity.
It's often the hospital.
Yeah, if you're lucky to get there.
Yeah, if you're out there in the field in Africa, there may not be a hospital.
Yeah, so.
Wow, yeah, it's interesting where we've gone with it, and I'm definitely I don't know, that's kind of a neat idea. Getting back to jiu-jitsu a little bit, I'd like to get some advice for the students that may not have, just a couple of years on the mat experience, and kind of see what you have to offer them. If somebody's going to do their first tournament, what advice do you have for them to get the most out of it?
Commit themselves to it. Goes back to the commitment. Make your sacrifices. Do something different. If there's a difference between wanting to go to a tournament and show up and just be glad to be there and be there to win. So if people want to win the tournament, they really got to put their nose to the grindstone and do what others don't want to do. They got to show up early. They got to leave late. They got to make sacrifices. They gotta be willing to make sacrifice. They got to be really determined. They got to apply these things. They got to commit themselves to it. If they say they're going to do it, they're going to do it. They can't say they're going to do it 8 weeks out and then 6 weeks in they say, you know what, I'm too tired. Well, you come a long way. It's too late to turn around. Stick to it. You said you're going to do it. Do it. There's no try. You're going to do it or you're not. I call guys out all the time. I'll hear guys say, I'm going to try. You're going to fucking do it or you're not. It's that simple. You may be wrong. If you're trying, you doubt yourself. Boom. Automatic. You're trying, there's doubt inside of you. That's it. It's period. There's doubt inside of you if you're trying. Because you don't fully believe in yourself. You're not certain of yourself. You're either going to do it or you're not. If you do it, you may be wrong. But at least you were never in doubt.
Yeah, that's I like that.
So I believe, really, really believe in yourself. Be confident in yourself, and be optimistic. Look at when you wake up and you brush your teeth and you look in a mirror, see good things, see the positive, see the gold, see see yourself in a mirror and know the hard work's going to pay off. You understand? See yourself and believe in yourself. See the good. See the good. See the good. I keep saying, you understand? See the light. See the light. Surround yourself. Surround yourself with other people who see the light. Surround yourself with people who are going to say you're going to win. Don't surround yourself with people who are going to say, well, maybe you should reconsider. Man, no. I want people. I want to surround myself with people who are all in for the light, for the positive. No matter how wrong I may be, you know, you want people by your side that are going to say you're going to do it. You got this. You got this. I believe in you. No matter how big the task. Could be going up against Godzilla. I'm on your side, man. Byron, you got this, man. You got this guy, man. There's no doubt in my mind, man. But you're going to want to hang around with me, man. You don't want to hang around with a guy who's well, you're facing Godzilla. What are you doing, man? Are you crazy? Don't hang out with that guy, man. That guy's going to sabotage the greatest thing you're about to achieve, man. You're about to kick Godzilla's ass. He's about to sabotage that.
Yeah, and so you like to say, and I think it's good with that. You might be wrong, but you believe it, and that's a big step in heading it. Because, you know, like, if I'm facing Godzilla, I'm going to think, yeah, I'm going to try my best. This is almost impossible. But you're over there telling me you're going to do this. And, you know, at the end of the day, maybe you were wrong, but you told me I could do it. And that's the type of thing I needed to hear. If I was going to be able to do it, I need to hear that to get it done.
Most people, and most people, and this is just in general, most people, they're in the try zone. They're not. They don't, I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it. They're in a try zone. They're in a zone of uncertainty. And they wonder why they never get it done. That's most people. When they really want to get after something. I'm talking about people who really want to get focused and get after something. You know, we're not talking about, you know, if other people are content and they're just good with, for each their own, whatever makes people happy. But for the ones who are getting after something, for the ones who are getting after the gold, and there's a lot of people who talk about it, but a great majority don't win because they're in a try zone. They're in a zone of uncertainty. So they're never, it goes back to what I said in the beginning. If there's even a little doubt, a hair of doubt, you're never going to max the potential you can tap. You understand?
Yeah.
Only when there's no doubt in my mind, I'm going to kick Godzilla's ass, you're going to tap more potential. Because there's no doubt in your mind. And the amount of potential you tap is going to determine the action you take to kick Godzilla's ass. And the action you take is going to determine the results. So it applies to everything in life, Byron. Everything.
And you need to be saying that, not like the day before the tournament. You need to be saying that I'm going to win this tournament. I'm going to beat Godzilla. Well, before, during the training process, during the hard work, and that's when the effort's there because you believe it.
And, you know, there's a difference. A lot of people talk. Like, you've heard that before. Talk is cheap.
Yeah.
A lot of people talk. A lot of people do a lot of talking. Very few people do a lot of effort and getting results. You understand? Results, true results, that's for the few, not the many. Because most people are content, they're just content with good, and that's not wrong. That's just for each their own. But I'm talking about the ones who really want to excel and the ones who really want to amplify and accelerate and really tap out the tap into the best of their ability. That's a next level. That's a next level. And you're only gonna get it with true commitment. And it ain't gonna be fun, and it ain't gonna be easy. It's gonna be a lot of work, and it's gonna be a lot of pain. Because there's going to be time where there's going to be a lot more failure than success. You're going to be remembered for the success, not the failure. But there's going to be a lot more failure. Life is more about losing than winning. I can tell you this. When people know me for beating Marcelo Garcia, they don't see how many times I lost. I lost so many times, Byron, to get to that day where I achieved that state of certainty. But the difference is I never backed off. I never backed off. The failure, it was short term because I never lost sight of the big goal. I'm going to be a great champion. And people, I'm saying this for everybody out there. Don't be afraid to fail. failure is part of success. Whatever your success is a relative term. Success for me is I just want to make it through another day where I can help more people. I'm focused on now, what's in front of me right now. Today's in front of me. The moment's in front of me. I slept well last night. I slept great. I'm not thinking a month ahead, a month behind. I'm thinking in the now. I'm thinking now. I slept great yesterday. I'm having a great day today. I had a great seminar this afternoon, and I'm ready to have an incredible seminar tonight. So I'm right here in the now, and I'm going to make it great. So that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense, I'm sure, to everybody. How would somebody get a hold of you or learn more about you?
ChopCertified.com.
And are you, I mean, from what I've seen, you're teaching a lot, so it really doesn't really matter where somebody is. Eventually, you'll probably be in an area close by, or you'll be able to kind of put that into the loop, it seems like.
Yeah, ChopCertified.com is the best way. I don't do social media. It just wastes too much of my time. Time wasted is time I never get back. That time could be spent helping others to get better, to reach their best, to become just better in whatever shape or form they want to be better in. Because for each their own. Some people they want to win, they want to build and win that championship in 10 years. I'm focused now. I'm right now is in front of me. Today is now. It goes back to what I said before. I'm happy. I slept great last night. I'm healthy. I'm in the game. I'm inspiring people. I had good food. I'm going to have a great night tonight. So I'm focused on what's ahead of me right now. You know, the moment is now. Now is the time. Now is the time to take action on your efforts. Now is the time to appreciate tomorrow. I can tell you tomorrow is not guaranteed. Everybody should know that, but most people don't tap into that. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. So, focus on today. The past was and never will be again. Focus on what you got right in front of you right now. Appreciate what you have, not what you don't have.
Man, you've got me all, like you say, you don't like to motivate people, but like that word is kind of a weird, or something that you don't like to say, but you got me all ready to go. I got class here in a little bit, and I'm going to get in there and act like it's like tomorrow I may not get to go. Tomorrow, this might be the last time I get to go train. What would I do differently? How am I going to train? And I'm going to, get in there and have the best possible class in that I can.
So I'll leave everybody with this for the ones who are listening and for yourself. How would you treat today if you knew there wasn't going to be a tomorrow? And it goes way beyond jiu-jitsu. Think about that. How would you treat today? What you're doing today? The people you're gonna communicate with, the people you're gonna be around, the people you're gonna, how your day's gonna unfold. How would you treat today if you knew there wasn't gonna be a tomorrow? Because the reality is tomorrow's not guaranteed, and how you approach today is a choice. And it goes back to the good or great. Are you gonna make it a beautiful day? Are you gonna make it a glorious day for not just yourself, but every single person you come in contact with? When you smile, to smile or not to smile, it's a choice. Put a smile on, be happy. This thing called life is a gift. It's beautiful. It's a gift for everybody who's in the game above the ground. This is a gift. It can be taken away at any moment. And the first words that everybody really can only say is thank you for allowing me to have this gift of life. They can't, there's no, well, this shouldn't have happened. No, there's only a thank you, because all this was a gift from the beginning. You understand? So take that to heart. How would you treat today if there wasn't going to be a tomorrow? Because tomorrow is not guaranteed, now is. And how you approach it is a choice. It's a choice. Do you want to do it? Do you want to do it with a smile? Do it with a smile. Do it with a smile. I recommend do it with a smile, because that's going to rub off. That's going to rub off. It's contagious. Other people are going to smile. Be optimistic. Be the wind behind your training partner's back. you know they're going to compete, go out of your way to be the wind behind your back. Hey, I heard you're going to compete. You're going to compete. You're going to kick ass. You're going to do great. You understand? Don't, even if they could be going up against the toughest competition in the world. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just focused on my guy. He's going to do great. He's going to do it. I can care less about what's coming our way. But I know whose team I'm on, and I'm looking out for my guy. So you got to, it's important. Everybody look out for each other. Going back to the team aspect, a lot of time people do it for themselves, but go out of your way. Don't make it about yourself. Make it about the team.
Awesome. Dustin, it's been a pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Byron. It was a real pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right. I want to thank Clean for showing up on the podcast, giving us the interview. It's nice to meet him. Go to his website, chopcertified.com. Gary, I got to tell you, his seminar was like nothing I'd ever seen. I've been to a lot of really awesome seminars, but I've never seen somebody work a room full of people that he didn't really know anybody when he got there. And he learned all of our names. He was able to, kind of call us out from across the mat, make sure we're doing the right thing. He pushed us physically. We were all getting exhausted. And the techniques he shows, he doesn't show 3,000 techniques. The seminar I went to, he basically showed a triangle choke, and he was real particular about the details and doing them certain ways. And all of those details, I think, have stuck in my head. Like, I forget a lot of things at seminars. That's pretty common. But the stuff he showed, and he has easy ways to remember things. Like, one example, you grab your shin a certain way, and then he says your knuckles have eyes, and they're looking at the ceiling. So he wants you to hold your hand a certain way as you're grabbing your shin. And he wants your feet to be a certain way. And a lot of people, when they do a triangle choke, their toes are pointed. And that's like a ballerina. We're not doing ballet. We're doing jiu-jitsu. So to have your feet kind of, pointed up and at a right angle to your shins, that's jiu-jitsu feet. So he could yell out, Byron, jiu-jitsu feet. And, yes, my feet are not in the shape that they should be. I'm over here being a ballerina. So I need to jiu-jitsu my feet. And so he has like these little... it's kind of a memory trick. It kind of, like the names of things really help you get to know it. Jiu-jitsu my feet. I always know now when I do a triangle and a lot of different techniques to have good, strong jiu-jitsu feet. It makes a big difference when you're trying to clamp down on somebody. But just the way he teaches, his teaching style, very impressed by that. So if you're looking for somebody to teach a seminar, I know he travels a lot and he's teaching all over the world. And he'd be one to look up and see if his schedule fit with yours. And that'd be something you could do, because I had a good time meeting and training with Dustin.
I wasn't privileged enough to go to this tournament or go to this seminar. I had something going on at that time. But I just remember the next day talking to Byron. He's like, this seminar was insane. And the first thing he brought up was the guy didn't know a single person when he came in besides probably Jake. And after that, like before the day was over, he knew everybody's name, was calling you out by name across the room. And I just remember, you just telling me about that, and just like the guy's memory and his attention to detail and all the little things were just insane. So definitely, like Byron says, check out his a seminar if he does come near you, or if you're looking to schedule a seminar, get a hold of him and bring him in, and you guys will definitely learn a lot. And Byron, you talked about jiu-jitsu feet versus ballerina feet, and
yes.
But it's crazy. I was talking to somebody here not too long ago, and they're like, Byron's got these ballerina feet. That's the exact words. He wasn't talking about training like a Byron. He was talking about ballerina feet, and what he meant is, he's like, Byron is impossible to footlock. He said Byron can like walk on his toes, and it's funny. I've known you so long, but I've never actually seen you walk on your toes or do any of that. So, but yeah, I just thought about that when I heard you talking about ballerina feet, and it was just kind of crazy you said that, because somebody was telling me you have ballerina feet.
There we go, Gary.
And is that true, Byron? Can you really walk on your toes?
No.
Okay.
I don't know where you're going with this, Gary.
It's not a joke. I did hear.
Yeah.
I know I'm always messing with you, but I did hear that you can walk on your toes and you cannot be ankle locked, straight ankle locked.
Yeah, I could be totally straight ankle locked, and I think probably nobody has done the straight ankle lock more to me than Gary. this guy I train with sometimes. And
well, I just thought my ankle lock was a little better than most people.
It's pretty dang good. I gotta say that. But yeah, I think you've straight ankle locked me more than anybody else. And a lot of the guys that you train with have a straight ankle lock that's right up there with yours. So where if I can't get out of that thing and change positions pretty quick, I'm in trouble pretty quick. So yeah, it just is a testament to you teaching your ankle locks and passing it on to the people you train with, and they also are developing killer ballerina style feet ankle locks.
We try to make ballerina feet.
That's right. That's right. You got to get that foot to flap down and to get it that pressure to kind of break that jiu-jitsu feet, or sometimes we call it putting the boot on. You kind of want your toes curled back a little bit.
Yep. Yeah. And that was actually a previous guest we've had on, and I know you just went out and visited him and trained with him, but Rolly Delgado, really, I used to never do ankle locks at all, and I started out with his app, Legal Leg Locks, or I think that's what it was called, and it just changed my mind on leg locks and everything. So, and then I've had 2 seminars, I think, with him, and really taught me a lot. So, he gets all the credit.
Yep. We need to get Rolly back on the show sometime. It's been a while. He's very insightful, and it was just a blast talking to Rolly last time.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
speaking of previous guests, Byron, what do we have for our article of the week?
We have an article. I like the segue. We have an article on flowgrappling.com written by a previous guest, Josh Hinger. And this article came out on May 18th. It's titled, "Hey, Jiu-Jitsu competitors, stop apologizing for your losses."
Yeah, I do see that happen. A lot of people apologizing for their loss and, putting it on Facebook, "Hey, sorry guys, I lost." But shoot, no need to be sorry. You went out there, you put it all on the line, and, I don't know, I always say you win just for competing.
Yeah, there's definite wins for competing, and there's also a win for preparing to compete. So if you're competing in 2 months and you do the same thing you're doing, the last year, and you're not really changing anything, I think you're missing out on part of the opportunity of competing. Amp up your training a little bit, change your diet, get a little healthier, get a little stronger, get on the weights, or do some extra cardio training. Try to make yourself a little bit better at jiu-jitsu for this competition, and focus. Try to niche down your game plan to get it to be on point, to where the things you're doing are real sharp and clean, and gonna be a great attacks, and your defense is really solid, to where if you do get in trouble, you're not screwed. You need to consider, like, this may not be an easy match. The guy might pass my guard. I need to have good escape. What if they get on my back? I need to be able to get out of this thing. But get your game on point, and that will help you long term, because it'll help you develop and sharpen your game. But so I think that's great. And if you do that, and even if you lose, in the process of training and getting better, you've won. You've really had a lot of focus on your jiu-jitsu for this purpose of the tournament. If the tournament's, if you get out there and it's a minute-long match, or even shorter, but if you feel like in the process of training for this tournament that you've gotten significantly better, that's awesome. That's a great reason to compete, to kind of hone your skills and put that goal in front of you. And Josh Hinger says, as long as you did your best, you have nothing for which to apologize.
Yeah, definitely. What I like is Josh talks about, it's highlighted there. If you're happy, I'm happy. And, he basically goes on to say he doesn't care if you win. He doesn't care if you lose. He just wants you to be happy. What I like is he says, as long as they sign up and test themselves against the unknown, he goes on to say his proud meter is maxed out at that point. He just seems like a coach that, probably has a large school of very happy students when you have a mentor and a coach like that. He wants everybody just to do their best and try their hardest and be happy. If you're happy, he's happy. But the part I really liked was my proud meter is maxed out.
Yeah, and he also says, if you're in high spirits after a match, He also says if you are in high spirits after a loss, but maybe you had an epic match, he's happy for you. So really, it's kind of hard to accept sometimes, but the win or the loss of your match is partially in somebody else's hands. It's partially in the person standing across the mat from you. If that person, let's say you're a blue belt, you're going to go out there and you're going to do your 110% best. You've got your game plan. You know, this is your day. And Dustin Denes talked about that. This, you know, you need to have, you know, really, it is your day, and you're gonna win this tournament. You're for sure going to win this tournament. And even Dustin said, you might be wrong, but you're sure you're going to win. And so that eliminates that self-doubt. That eliminates those options of messing up. It gives you that confidence that you need to really go forward. You might be wrong, but you'll be sure when you step on the mat that you're going to do well. That's an interesting mind frame. But the ultimate thing of it is if the person standing across from you is going to get their purple belt on the podium, or, you know, they've cleaned up the blue belt division for years, there's a good chance that you may not beat that person. But as long as you fight your best, you don't need to apologize for your performance. You know, get out there and give it all your heart, and give it the game plan that you and your coaches put together, and fight hard. Nothing to apologize for.
Yep. Hey, Josh goes on to talk about, overcoming high expectations. You know, a lot of times, everybody just wants to win. They've got, they've told everybody they're going to enter this tournament. Everybody's expecting to win. But, like Josh says, his goal as a coach is to reduce the amount of pressure his students feel that we're competing. And, we hear it all the time. Pressure is tough. A lot of times you're not going to perform your best. You've got so much pressure, training leading up to it, the night before, after you weigh in. And normally a lot of times that pressure can make it so it's not so fun, and you do not compete to your best. And, his thing is, he says he always tries to remind his students and teammates to have fun at tournaments. He doesn't think, the tournament should be walk in a park, but he wants you to have fun because he thinks you'll perform better, and you will perform better if you're not stressed out. So, hey, just go out there, have fun. You won just for signing up. You won just for training to get ready for this tournament. And like you were saying before, Byron, you did get a little bit better while you were training to get this. Just have fun. Go out there, train, compete to the best of your ability. And like you said, who knows who's that guy across the mat? I mean, you could end up with Josh Hinger across the mat, and it doesn't matter how hard you train, you're going to lose probably, unless Josh breaks his leg, walking out, but you're going to lose. It's just, 99.9 out of 100 times you're probably not going to be on the podium on that one. But go out and have fun, and you're going to learn just from being at the tournament, and you're going to learn and get better for training for it.
Yeah, so we're kind of entering into a kind of an interesting thing here that may seem like they don't get along well. During the interview with Dustin Denes, he talked about know that you're going to win. You need to know that you're going to win, no matter who it is. And his example for me was, you could be fighting Godzilla, and Byron, I know you're going to beat this guy. I know you're going to choke him out, or however I would beat Godzilla. I don't know how to beat Godzilla. But he's going to tell me and believe that I'm going to win this fight or this match. And you know what? Even if he's wrong, having that confidence, having that attitude, if there was a chance, like Gary said, 99% chance, if that 1% chance presents itself, I'm going to grab a hold of that thing and choke it out. Not talking about Josh Hinger, because that 1% chance is probably slimmer than that. But, just having that attitude that is possible, and not just as possible, that today's going to be your day. You're going to do this. You're going to choke out Marcelo Garcia today. If you have that doubt in your mind, you'll probably pass the opportunity when it comes up.
Byron, I was kind of talking about this morning with a guy I was training with, and we were talking about jiu-jitsu versus, let's say, basketball. And if I, was going against Stephen Curry in basketball, we were playing 10 games to 10, there's no way I'm going to win any of them or even have a chance. The games to 10, we got to make so many baskets to win a game. But in jiu-jitsu, all you have to do is grab that neck one time, grab that arm one time, twist that foot one time, and you can win. And that's what we were talking about. What I thought was, is neat about jiu-jitsu is I can be a huge underdog. I could have Godzilla or Josh Hinger on the other side of the mat. And even though I just said here, probably my chances aren't very good, I always have a chance. One mistake, and I can stretch that arm out. And hopefully I've put in enough training that my muscle memory just works automatically. I'm not thinking about it. If you have to think about it against a guy, like Josh Hinger or Byron, the person's going to get out of it. You have to just snag it the minute you see it. You have to have the eye of the tiger, as Rocky would say. You just have to go for it and try to stretch that arm out and get a submission. But I do think that's the cool part of jiu-jitsu, of MMA, where you one punch can finish it, of boxing, of wrestling. You have a really good person, but they make a mistake and you put them on their back. That's why I think I love these sports so much, because there's always a little bit of chance, which I don't think I could ever beat Stephen Curry in a game of basketball.
Gary, if you're gonna compete against Stephen Curry in basketball, I got your back, man. I know you're gonna take him out. I know you're gonna find a way to get those 10 points. Maybe you're shooting a lot of baskets from half court, and we make those worth 5 each, or maybe even 10. I don't know, Gary, but we'll find a way.
So now you're changing the rules.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you could footlock the guy. He is, a very talented athlete, but I imagine if you grab a hold of his foot and lock that sucker up and hip into it, you'll probably win the rest of the match.
Yeah, that could happen.
Looking at the article, so the first parts of the article, he's talking about, he wants you to try your best to enjoy the experience and not be apologetic if it doesn't go your way. But then he swings to the other side of the spectrum, and, like the keep it playful mentality is kind of what he didn't want to get too close to that, because he's talking about, if you're having fun, you'll do better. But also, don't go out there and not try hard.
Don't just go out to have fun.
Yeah, don't. This is a competitive match. You've trained for this. You've possibly traveled quite a distance for this. The person across the mat for you has done the same thing. Gary, imagine if, I've trained for 3 months for something. I got an airplane, said bye to my family and was gone for 3 days or 2 days. And I get to get on the mat, and this guy is clowning around with me, acting like he's, just a fun open mat roll. I'm like, man, I've put a significant investment into this time. I need to treat this seriously. And so towards the bottom of this section, he says that you need to carry yourself in a respectful manner, respecting ourselves, the tournament, and the referees, and also representing your team with respect and your coaches. So you're out there representing a lot of things if you're competing in jiu-jitsu. And they don't need to be upset or disappointed if you lose, but if you get out there and you're clowning around and you're not trying your best, that could be seen as letting your coaches down in a way.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to do that. You don't want to, make a mockery of the art. You want to go out and give it your best performance, win, lose, or draw. Just go out and give it all you got. And then, he talks also about, that we can make so many excuses, and just based, hey, I'm doing this tournament and my family's coming, or I'm out of town, is the travel going to affect me? And he talks about that too, you think sometimes that people use so many excuses, and kind of like what we were just talking about a minute ago on the other side of the spectrum is you don't give it your all. You're just going out there, and it's kind of like what you're saying. It's disrespectful to your team, disrespectful to your coach. Go out, give it your best. Make no excuse. I mean, even if you lose, and let's say even if you lose a double elimination, you lose them both. You went out there. How many people are sitting at home, didn't do it? So I always just think that, no matter what, you won, for doing it. And, there is going to be pressure. There is going to be this. And, like Josh said, he tries to reduce that pressure and let you go out and try to perform your best.
Yeah, and the excuse that, I was just out there keeping it playful and having fun, that's an excuse too. And that's not an excuse that is really one that your coach is going to want to hear, as far as somebody who's been, spending their time and energy and thoughts about developing your game, and you go out there and you just go out there and see what happens. And, the game plan we made together, coach, I'm just going to have fun with it. And I don't really need to stick with that or do anything. And now there's another thing, is failing to stick with the game plan because the pressure gets to you. And this is a whole other thing. I've seen guys who don't have really any business shooting a takedown somebody, just trying to shoot like crazy because their nerves are getting to them, and they're just, man, what is this guy doing? You don't have a good shot right now, and he's the way he's sprawling and defending your takedowns, you're not going to get it, doing this, and this isn't your game plan. But when those nerves get to you, you might react in ways you don't want to. So the bottom part of this article is about dealing with the pressure and some things he does. And a big one is focus on yourself. Focus on your competition strategy, on your jiu-jitsu. Don't worry so much about the other competitors. It's always going to help you if you think about how hard you've trained for this. If you kind of review what you're going to do in certain tricky spots, if you have the confidence of having a great ability to escape side control and mount and back, if your escapes are awesome, if you're a blue belt and your escapes are on the purple belt level, you could walk into that match with a ton of confidence that, you might not win the match, but if you get in trouble, you're going to be able to get out, and you're going to have time to work and attack still to come. So I think escapes are a big confidence builder as well.
Talking about this awesome article here by Josh, it makes me think of a time that one of my guys was competing. Actually, a couple of my guys were competing, and I know you were there. And I was on the other side of the mat with one of my guys' very first time competing, and this guy, the guy I'm talking about, was competing on the other side, and he'd already won his first, and I think now he was in the championship match, and I really didn't get to see it. I was kind of every now and then looking up, from my side of the mat. But I saw he ended up finishing, and I think he finished with a heel hook. And, they picked him up, raised his hand, and, my match, where I was coaching got over, and my guy did lose. And I go back over, congratulate the guy for winning, and about 10 minutes later, I hear he got disqualified. And I guess they said it was an illegal move. I guess he used a heel hook that wasn't legal in this tournament. And, so at that point we're like, okay, it wasn't legal, no biggie. And then, so he was getting ready to leave, and I was like, hey, make sure you go up and get your medal. Don't forget your medal. So I go up with him to get his medal, and figuring we're going to get a second place medal. So we go up there and, name, and gives his name. And the lady behind the desk said, sorry, you don't get a medal. You were disqualified. And I was like, well, he made it to the finals, and he was disqualified in the finals. Doesn't he get a second place trophy? And she's like, no, you're disqualified. You're totally disqualified from the tournament. You're out. And I remember I was about to start arguing, saying, hey, I think my guy should get a, trophy, medal, whatever, this or that. And I remember he looks at me and it's like, hey, no biggie, coach. I did great out there. That was my best tournament ever. I had fun, and I know what I did. And he's like, let's go. And I just remember how proud I was. I was like, that, a person with a mindset like that guy's a champion, in life, in jiu-jitsu, in whatever they do. And I just remember I was like, man, I've got so much to learn from this guy. And here I was going to argue and, over a little piece of metal.
Yeah, and I do remember that time. And there was confusion with the rules. The ref didn't even know them because, as far as I can remember, this happened a couple years ago, but they combined the advanced division with the intermediate division. And surprise, the two competitors that end up in the finals are both in the advanced division. But because they combined them, they chopped the rules down to be like the intermediate level of rules, which made those illegal. So it was like all day, we're watching some matches, and occasionally you see a heel hook and you see the person win, and that happened to be in an advanced division. And so, when they combine these matches, I think he showed up that day, thinking, yeah, I'm in the advanced division. Yes, pretty much, whatever I want to do, no gi is going to be legal. And because they happened to combine those, they changed the rules kind of right before the match or that bracket started. And it was unfortunate. And like you said, bigger lesson of the day, not so much jiu-jitsu, but letting it go. And, I'm here to compete. I'm here to have fun and learn and get the most out of it. This is the reality in front of me, is they're not going to give me a medal for my performance. And that's fine. I'll just move on. And the guy's still training today, and he's still got a great heel hook.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, at that time, I was probably 48 years old. This guy was probably 20. And, he taught me a lesson. I was the one, who learned from the young guy. He taught me a lesson and made me realize how foolish I can be, over a little piece of metal. I just remember it was very enlightening, and I was just like, man, this is what it's all about.
Yeah. Gary, the simple quote, always a student, sometimes a teacher. You're always looking for places to learn things. And, sometimes somebody's presented with that and they look at their student like, you're crazy. And Gary was presented with that and he's like, man, that's a great attitude to have. I could learn from that guy.
Yeah, he taught me a lot, and he still does to this day. I mean, you can learn. That's what, I told you I like about this sport is I think anybody can get beat on any given day. The other thing I like is I don't care. You can be at Josh Hingert's level. You can be at Rolly Delgado's level. You can be at Dustin Denes' level. They're still learning. You don't stop learning. They're learning every day. I'm learning every day. And even if I'm not on the mat, I'm learning. I'm listening to podcasts, looking at articles, watching videos. And man, it's just such a never ending sport. The knowledge I can pick up each and every day, and it never gets stale. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Every time I talk about jiu-jitsu and start thinking about it, my love of the sport just comes out, and it's just, I don't know. I've never been hooked on anything like I have on jiu-jitsu. So, but it's an awesome sport.
Yep. Gary, this will totally wrap up our article of the week, flowgrappling.com. Check out the link in the show notes and read the full article. Josh, this guy's got it going on. Amazing, black belt world champion, no-gi. Sounds like an amazing coach. Like you want to have this guy coaching you all the time. Super nice guy. Look at his submissions online. Super brutal submissions. Like, man, he's out there killing it. And then he can write well. Josh Hinger, what a asset to the sport of jiu-jitsu he's becoming. And we're proud to be associated somewhat with him, and happy to have him back on the show sometime in the future. So, Gary, guess what's happening next?
If you're saying it that way, I assume I'm about to get run over with an audiobook.
Gary has an audiobook coming out. So I've kind of hinted that I'm trying to get some more. I've got a Matt Tails in the works. It's just kind of hard to get it recorded. I'm trying to get my wife to record it.
Yeah. I know you're holding it out so you can embarrass me with these audiobooks.
Trying to get her schedule to match with mine and then spend the time, recording something has not worked out well for us. But eventually we will get a female-read version of a Matt Tails. Also have another one that came in, so I might be able to record that one a little sooner. I don't know, but we got a couple in the works. So if you have a Matt Tails, send it in to bjjbrick@gmail.com and save Gary for just a week. This week, Gary, you are on the hot seat. You have a audiobook coming out, and it is about jiu-jitsu. It's called The Hairlock. And it's just, I don't know, I've heard of you doing this submission before, and it seems a little bit unusual for you to make a whole book about just the hairlock and what you're doing with that particular submission. A lot of places we can go with this book here, but I just want to know, what was the original idea? How did you come up with the hairlock?
Well, Byron, first of all, you couldn't believe that we're making an audiobook on one move. Byron, what is a brick? A BJJ brick. It's when you get so good at one move that you go to it whenever you're in trouble. You want to really master a move. So that's why I brought this down. This hairlock only into one book, and the reason I started it, as the question you just asked me, is I don't know if you ever watched the old WEC tournament. This was back in the very early days of MMA, Vale Tudo, mixed martial arts. And there was a competitor by the name of Eric Paulson. And Eric had this really, really long blonde hair, and it was into a ponytail. And if I remember right, he was going against, I hate to say it, but I can't think of the guy's name, but I remember he used to be a professional boxer. And they went at it, and that guy had a hold of Eric's ponytail for probably a good 5 minutes. And, that's when I started thinking about it, the hairlock. And I was like, there is something to this, this hairlock. And this book isn't related to just offense. We use defense on this hairlock. I mean, you're going to learn how to strangle people with their own hair. You're going to learn, one of my favorite ones, I call it the Apache scalping. We try to pull the hair and the scalp right off. A lot of people, this is not legal in a lot of tournaments, but, this is very good for the streets. So you'll learn that. You'll learn, the how to choke somebody. You'll learn how to tie somebody's hands up with their own hair. And even if they don't have a lot of hair, you'll learn that stuff. You'll learn how to make their hair longer during a match. Hair normally goes down into your head anywhere from, another, 1 to 2 inches. So you can pull it out a little bit to make it a little bit longer. You'll learn tricks like that. I don't know if that's totally true, but I've seen it on a lot of people. And, a lot of times you'll bring your own hair with you. You'll put it in your pocket, like extra hair, and you keep stuff like this. But then you're going to learn a lot of defensive stuff. What a lot of people do is they put gel in their hair. They will put gel or oil, any kind of oil, like even WD-40, anything in your hair, Vaseline. Like I know Byron carries that around everywhere he goes. So a lot of people will put Vaseline in your hair. You can't grab it. It's even hard to put a headlock on somebody. So, I mean, this is real world practical application. Not all the time are you going to have a man bun. And I don't know if a lot of you guys know, but you've probably seen a lot of man buns here lately on Facebook. And that's one of the reasons man buns came along. Makes it a little harder to grab your hair. But even in the man bun, you can pull the bun, which will take all the hair, put a little bit of pressure on it. And remember how I said the roots normally go down 1 to 2 inches. You can pull it out another inch before you unwrap that man bun. So those are little tricks you're going to learn and, just to make your overall survival game that much better.
Gary, I'm not for sure if you absolutely know nothing about hair and how deep the root is, or you have no idea how long an inch is. 1 or 2 inches under the scalp. I got a couple questions for you here.
Okay.
I think it's chapter 7 or 8. You talk about, in a very sneaky way, getting some hair in somebody's mouth and using that as a distractionary tactic. What's up with that, man?
Well, you can use that for people who have mustaches. And even if not, you can pull some of your own hair out and just shove it in their mouth. A lot of times what happens is, you get what's called the ganglion reflex. If you're not familiar with that, YouTube it or Wikipedia it. But it just takes you out of your game. Sometimes it gets caught into your teeth and, kind of messes up. And, there's all sorts of hair you can use. I mean, I've seen people with very long, hair on the top of their feet. You can use that hair. We're not just talking about hair on the top of your head. We try to maximize, the hair that we use.
Yeah. And you have a chapter about shaving your arm and leg hair and letting it grow out to be prickly. It's kind of a, frowned upon in some people, but I think a lot of this is probably frowned upon.
Yeah, it's always good to give your opponent razor burn. So it's always nice to just take that stubbly and just, rub it on their face, scratch them up. And then what a lot of people do when it's all, when it's already cut open a little bit and everything, throw a little bubonic plague in there. And that way it's already got a place to fester. And, your opponent will no longer be around in 6 to 8 days.
There you go. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Sometimes when you lose, you get bubonic plague from Gary.
Yeah, lose with style.
Yeah.
Yep, lose with style, Byron.
Brutal stuff, Gary. But I know, this book had some trouble getting some publishers behind it. Nobody really wanted to support the book because you end up having to go on a long campaign trying to get IBJJF to make this legal, make these techniques legal to use. And how was the process with that going?
Well, I was looking for sponsors, and I finally got one. Salon Lavish. Basically, they have decided to sponsor me. So, I always say, hey, if you want your haircut styled, man, woman, definitely go out and check Lacey out there at Salon Lavish, best place in the world. There
we go. So we've got it all covered here, Gary, and just hoping I keep my hair long enough to use it as an offensive tool, and not good enough to be used as against me.
Yes.
It's kind of like a gi. It can go either way. You could use it as an offense, wrap my gi around your neck and choke you, or it can be wrapped around my own neck and I get choked out with my own gi. So long hair goes both ways, huh?
Yeah. But I tell you what I'll do next time is next time we roll, I'll pull all your hair out at least an inch, and you'll see a whole different person.
I'd be really impressed if you can make my hair an inch longer. Yeah, that's amazing, Gary.
You'll end up looking like a hippie when we're done.
All right, Gary, we're excited about the book coming out. That's going to be great.
Yep, definitely check it out. Should be in theaters this Christmas. Hey, another thing I want to talk about is Patreon. We have a link to it on our website. Patreon is a website for content producers. And we basically have, a handful of people who, support us on a per-show episode. And, we're very appreciative of that. It helps us keep, as Byron always says, this brick afloat. So definitely check out Patreon. And if you do have the means, we'd appreciate any support you could give us.
Yep, that means a ton. Gary, next week, I haven't told you yet, so we'll see how you react to this. But I think, it's our last episode of the month coming up, and we always have a topic episode. I think we'll be talking about maybe your gifts and jiu-jitsu. So like the things you possess or things you're good at. Maybe you have the gift of speed or a gift of being able to remember a lot of techniques or just like anything like that. And Gary and I will have to work on this a little bit, but your gifts and jiu-jitsu and how you could use them to the fullest.
Well, mine's the gift of gab. And, I can talk to anybody, anytime, anywhere. And the way it helps me is right as I'm about ready to get submitted, I just start talking, have a conversation. They slow their pace down most of the time, and I'll escape. And then I'll really give it to them.
Yeah, Gary, you're being a little deceptive with that. You also will gab in neutral positions, and also when you're actually winning, you'll kind of distract me with some idle conversation, and before you know it, I'm getting Kimura'd, and I'm thinking about telling you about what happened at this particular event or something like that. That's definitely a gift that we'll have to discuss and share with the audience, as well as actual gifts or talents that people may have and how to capitalize on those on the mat.
Yeah, and a lot of times you can find your gifts or your talents if you do a talent show. So definitely sign up for a talent show, and then maybe you'll find out what your talent is and bring that to the mat. So long as you don't bring any mice or animals. But hey, definitely check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Reddit, Twitter. Check us out on all those. And definitely let your friends know about it. Our best form of flattery is you, our listeners, telling your friends, families, coworkers. Definitely tell your boss about us. And you may actually get a raise if you do tell your boss about us. But, yeah, definitely get the word out. Let everybody know about BJJ Brick. We'd appreciate it.
Yep, bjjbrick.com. If you need to email us, our email is bjjbrick@gmail.com. Also, a popular way is to send us a message on our Facebook page. Is in the messenger there, and Garrett and I will both see that. But if you have an article you want us to read on the show, or a quote that we should discuss, or you want to say, "Hey, what's up, guys?" and those are all good things to do. All of the email and the Facebook are all easy ways to get a hold of us. So we appreciate you guys reaching out to us sometimes, or all the time when you do it, but sometimes
all the
it
time.
happens.
Yeah. Hey, and lastly, if you happen to be traveling through Wichita and you're looking for a place to train, hit us up, bjjbrick@gmail.com. We'd love to get on the mat with you, and I can show you the gift of gab.
Yes, Gary. Next week, talking about the gifts that you have in jiu-jitsu. We'll catch you guys next week, my friends. Stay sweaty.
And don't forget to shower.
And wash your hair. Gary, I thought you were going to slam dunk that the hair reference, but wash your hair.
Oh, sorry, I forgot that one.
Good times.
Dang, how did I miss that?
I don't know.
Terrible.
That's
Yep.
all right.
Yep.
You always have a little secondary thing to say.
Yep. I swung and missed at that one.
You didn't swing. It went by.
Yeah, I took the pitch.
Oh, good times.
Thank you for listening. I hope you find the time today to roll. After all, the best way to get better at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Gary, this will totally wrap up our article of the week. FlowGrappling.com. Check out the link in the show notes. I said show notes. Check out the link in the show notes.
And they've turned around. There where we need you. We got him on the spot. Good spot, friend. Smile.